How to build a customer avatar. That's important for any online marketer, including affiliate marketers. And one of the reasons that most affiliate marketers fail is because they don't do this step. It is absolutely essential to understand the audience that you're trying to serve. Hi, Peter Tom Cope here from Nomad Storm, where we make money online from anywhere in the world that we want to be. And for the rest of this summer, I'm on the lake back home in Perth, Ontario. Let's look at building an avatar. Okay, a couple of challenges here. One is that Facebook's audience insight tool has changed. It didn't go away completely, but you can't do nearly what you could do before, where we could go into that tool and basically uncover all the audiences of, all the interests of a particular audience. I don't use Facebook anyway. I got banned a long time ago, so I've had to develop different ways to do it. And the good news is that you can still come up with a good avatar without using Facebook, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, look, having a customer avatar really is one of the most important steps, and so many people skip it, right? When you think about building a business, what you need to think about is how you're going to serve the market that you're trying to put yourself in front of, right? And I think it was Zig Ziglar, one of the big gurus a long time ago, said that if you want to make more money, you have to help more people, and that's absolutely true, right? So instead of thinking about the dollar signs at the beginning, think about how you can help the group of people, the market, the niche that you're trying to get into, and the dollar signs will come from there. Okay, so the last video in this series, we went into some detail about selecting a niche. So if you haven't seen that one, I'll put a link in the description below, and you should probably have a look at that because I went into a fair bit of detail about the way that I select a niche anyway. And this one is about how we build an avatar based on that niche. Okay, so the niche that we selected after all that work was the anxiety niche. There are a lot of people in that space that could use some help, and there are a lot of products that have affiliate programs. Okay, so the avatar. The customer avatar allows you to come up with a representative of that audience that you're trying to serve, right? And one of the big problems that occurs when marketers just market without understanding who they need to market to is they're too broad, right? So they don't understand the messages, they don't understand the pain points, the desires, and so forth. So if we do some research and come up with the dream customer, the perfect customer, and then start building our marketing messages around that one person, we're going to have a much higher conversion rate than if we didn't go through that process. Okay, so having an avatar, doing the work, is super important, and it is work. You can't skip over this and expect good results. So you've got to, think it's going to take you a couple of days, 2 or 3 days of research and thinking to come up with the avatar, and that's how long this one took me. So I'm going to show you what I did and the steps that I go through. Okay, so there are 5 steps in the way that I do it, and the first thing to do is figure out the demographics. Okay, and we just use Mr. Google for that. So if I go over to Google and the niche is anxiety, and I just typed in anxiety statistics, and let's see what I came up with. Okay. So this website is anxiety statistics, right? And it's global statistics, but I'm interested in the U.S. stats because that's where the majority of the market's going to be. And so as I go through this, it gives me an indication of levels of anxiety by state, and I'll get into more detail about that in a moment. It also tells me that about 40 million Americans suffer from anxiety. That is 12% of the population. So there are a lot of people out there that could use some help. As I read through this document, it also tells me that significantly more women than men suffer from anxiety. So that tells me my avatar is going to be a woman. It also tells me by age that anxiety manifests usually in teenagers, and then it may or may not go away and it can come back later. So if I'm thinking about my avatar, a 17 to a 19-year-old probably doesn't have the money in order to buy anxiety type products, but their parent or guardian might. So I'm thinking about that for my avatar. But as I read through this entire statistic, I also notice that anxiety levels in women between the ages of 30 and 40 are higher than between 20 and 30 and 40 and beyond. So that's telling me that my avatar probably should be a female somewhere between 30 and 40, and that is somebody that is either suffering anxiety herself or perhaps has a loved one, a child that suffers from anxiety, although 30 would be a little bit young to have a child that's suffering anxiety. But these are all things that we think about, right? So I've gone through this entire article and several articles actually, and I'm realizing that there's different types of anxiety, and when I look at the numbers, the stats, I think general anxiety is going to be one of the things that our avatar suffers from. And I went through probably 10 websites like that, so I'll just show you one other one here. And this one, it gave me a demographic by color and race. So this tells me that white Americans suffer more anxiety than African, Asian, or Hispanic Americans. So therefore, my avatar is going to be a white, a Caucasian woman between the ages of 30 and 40. So you see how I'm building these demographics as I go through these websites. The other thing I wanted to decide was where my avatar lives. And so I went to anxiety by states. And the number one, they seem to be all in the southern states. Interesting. So the number one, I think, is, what was it? Come on. Oklahoma, right? And then Louisiana, and then Arkansas, and then Georgia, and Arizona, and Kentucky, all across the South. So then what I did is I looked at the population of these states, and Georgia's the biggest one on this list. So I thought, okay, that means that my market is, there's probably more people because anxiety per capita suffering from anxiety in Georgia. Therefore, I decided that my avatar is going to be a resident of Georgia. There's more anxiety in urban settings than rurally, and there's more people. So therefore, she's going to live in Atlanta. And she's a woman between the ages of 30 and 40, and she's white. Okay, so just using Google, you can come up with some educated guesses about the demographics of your avatar. Okay, and that probably took me not that long, actually, just a couple of hours. And as I say, I went through about 10 websites. I've just shown you 3, but that's what you need to do to try and figure out the demographic of your avatar. Okay. So step number 2 is to look at what the market is saying. Now there are different ways to do this, but I use 3 sources really. I use Facebook, I use Amazon, and I use YouTube. And I'll show you how I do that in a moment. Now, other people use Instagram, and depending on the niche, maybe you're going to go to LinkedIn, for instance. But for the majority of people are on Facebook. So you're going to find groups in your niche, probably. Amazon book reviews are a great way to find out what people are saying, what they're talking about. And of course, YouTube is the second biggest search engine, and so usually you'll find something there. So this is how I do it. First, let's go to Facebook. I just typed in anxiety, right? And then I selected groups, and look at them. There's tons of them, right? And so I was actually lucky for this particular niche because I happen to know somebody that has suffered from anxiety and has gotten under control. So I got that person to go through all these groups and basically vet it for me, and then just give me I think 12 groups is what she came up with. And I just spent an entire day joining groups and seeing what people were talking about, right? So I look at the posts and I look at the comments on the posts, and you start to get a feel for the kinds of anxiety that are out there. So general anxiety for sure is huge. So definitely our avatar is going to suffer from general anxiety. Agoraphobia, I think, is what it's called. It's another one, which is a fear to leave the home. I think maybe our avatar will have that. And there's just a huge wealth of information in these things. And the number one cause of anxiety appears to be financial stress. So that tells me that our avatar is not going to be rich. She's going to be a woman who's just barely making it, or at least has financial stress in her life. And the second thing is social stress. People feel like aliens in a social environment. So I took notes as I wrote these things down, and you see, I'm just building my sense, my knowledge of this avatar that I'm creating, and then I decided it was time to name the avatar. So I simply typed in most popular female name in Georgia, and it came up with Ava, and therefore my avatar is Ava, Ava, who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so I spent probably over a day just looking at Facebook groups. Some people use forums, online forums. I don't, but that's another option if you like that kind of thing. Okay. So the next thing that I did was I went to Amazon.com, and just typed in anxiety, right? And I don't actually read the books. Now, there may be a time for that when I'm looking for content, or I'll probably just get a content creator who can do that research for me. I want to know the reviews, right? So I scroll down here, not the editorial reviews, but reviews that people leave. I just start reading them. I read some of the 5 stars. I always read the lower ones. Now, there's 4,400 reviews here, so I'm not going to read 4,400 reviews. But, I probably checked out 10 or 15 books. And so altogether, I probably looked at 500 reviews, right? And I'm just looking at what people think of the book. And that just tells me about the demographic, right? I note the people that are commenting. So Rachel's a female. Catherine's a female, so cat named Puppy. I don't know who that is, but I'm just looking at who's leaving reviews, and take it for what it is, right? It's not necessarily the real name and all that, but sometimes it is. And then reading the comments to get a good feel, and I'm taking notes, right, to get an idea about the pain points and the desires of Ava. Okay, and the final thing that I do is I go to YouTube, and again, it's not so much the vids themselves, but it's the comments on the videos, right? So let's just see this. This is a TED Talk, this one here. So that's not somebody's niche YouTube channel. It's a TED Talk thing. So if we click on that and just go right to the comments, 7,000 comments almost, right? And just start looking at them. Again, I don't actually look at the videos themselves at this stage. When it comes to content creation, sure. But I'm just looking at these reviews, these comments, seeing what people are saying, right? And I do that literally for 3 days, right? I don't do anything else. Sometimes it's fascinating, sometimes it's not fascinating. You hear the same thing over and over and over again, but it's sinking in. Whether you realize it or not, you're getting a good feel for your avatar. Okay, so this is key. It's crucial. Don't skip that. Okay, so based on that, I'm taking notes, as I say, and I'm determining pain points and desires, and then I list the pain points and desires. Some people create an empathy map, so they actually write out what Ava thinks, what Ava hears, what Ava feels. I basically just do it by list, pains and desires, and then I write the avatar. Okay, so let me show you the avatar that I created here for Ava. Okay, so the first thing that you'll notice here is Ava has a picture. Now, I just went to Google and I typed in Georgia overweight woman, and a bunch of pictures came up, and that's the one that I selected. The reason why I decided that Ava is overweight is because I saw during my research that weight issues were a cause of anxiety in many cases. And then I looked at the stats for Georgia, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but over 50% of women in Georgia are overweight. So I thought, okay, then likely Ava will be too. So she's 35 years old. She lives in Atlanta. She's white with an Anglo heritage, and I explained how I got that. She finished high school, but she has no college education. And the reason that I put that is when I was doing the demographic research, the rate of anxiety for women with college degree or and university degrees is lower than those who just had high school. So therefore, Ava did not go to college. She's an administration clerk and makes $30,000 annually. I actually looked up the annual salary or the median salary for an admin clerk. I just gave her that role because that's one of the common jobs in Georgia. She suffers from general anxiety, social anxiety, and a phobia-related disorder, and I think that's going to be agoraphobia, as I said. And she suffers from depressive episodes from time to time. And I'm just getting this because of the demographic research that I did and because of that 3 days of reading comments, right? She has a self-confidence problem, spends most of her personal life on the internet. There is stress in her job, and she dreads going to work because of her social anxiety. She constantly fears being judged by others. I'm getting this because I'm reading the comments on the YouTube videos and the comments on the books that are on Amazon, right? She's not political. She knows she has anxiety. And it seems to me that a lot of times I read that some of them have had counseling in the past, but just haven't done anything with it. So there's an awareness that she has an anxiety, but she doesn't know what to do about it. She doesn't know how to cure it. She doesn't know how to go to. She probably can't afford a whole bunch of medical treatment. So that's the world that she's in. I also said that Ava is in constant financial stress because that's such a common cause for anxiety, according to the people who have self-declared that they suffer from anxiety. So she rents an apartment, doesn't have a car. And she wants to change, but she never does. And all of this stuff, like none of this stuff I made up. This is all, gleaned from the comments that I read during that research that I did. Okay, so goals. So these are her desires. She wants to learn about anxiety so she can understand herself a little bit better, and then use that knowledge to try and cope with it, beat it, stop it. She wants to get control of it without getting professional help for two reasons. One, she doesn't have the money for professional help. And there's a common theme with people with anxiety. There's a shame. And so they're terrified of actually getting professional help. So they'd rather look things up on the internet and try and find out how to self-heal. She wants to get rid of her financial stresses. She wants a social life. She craves a social life, but she can't have one because it terrifies her. And that's something I read over and over again when I was doing the online research. Because she's overweight, she wants to be healthy. She doesn't feel that she's healthy and she wants to lose weight. And like all of us, she wants to find a life partner. Okay, so these are all the desires. So when you look at this, there's some strong, powerful marketing that we can do here. Okay, her challenges are that there is just so much information out there. So what's crap? What's good? How does she know which plan to follow? Which person to listen to? That's the same in any niche, but particularly something like mental health, anxiety, that's a huge one, right? As I said, anxiety stops her from reaching out to get help. She can't afford it, and she dreads the idea of a phone call to ask for it. She knows that she should be exercising and physically active, but she just can't do it. She's overwhelmed all the time. She's exhausted, so she doesn't exercise. She has a hard time making ends meet. She wants to enjoy a social life, and she wants to be comfortable, but her anxiety doesn't allow her to do that. So she's actually a social loner right now. So just a sad, lonely life in many ways. She wants to love life. She wants a partner. She wants to be normal like everybody else. She can't understand why there's this darkness in her, but it's not in everybody. And again, I'm getting all of this because of the research that I have done and the interview that I conducted with that person that I told you that I know that has anxiety. Okay, so that's as far as I went to get going, and I think that's enough. Okay, so the next step would be as you start to create content, you'll start getting comments back as you do research for the various blog articles that you're going to write or the YouTube vids that you're going to make. You'll learn more and more and more about people with anxiety and the challenges that face. And so you just go back to this avatar as often as you need to and refine it so that you know exactly what the challenges for Ava are, what messages will resonate with her. Okay, and the other thing that I do at the beginning is come up with a single statement that succinctly defines how I'm going to help this market, how I'm going to help Ava. In copywriting, they call this an elevator speech, and it really helps to focus you, right? So any of the content that you create, any of the products that you select because it's got a good affiliate program, if it doesn't meet the litmus test of this one sentence, then you don't do it because you're not focused. You're not focused in the right direction, right? So for Ava, or for this niche, my elevator statement is, I help people suffering from anxiety to understand it and to manage it without fear so they can function normally and start living a happy life. So you would be so surprised at how many people do not take the time to do this. So many affiliate marketers just, briefly check to see if there's traffic for any kind of given niche and if the keywords are there, if there's some other kind of indication that there's traffic and there's products out there, so there's money to be made. Then they set up a blog, a YouTube channel, TikTok channel, whatever it is, and they just start trying to attract people, trying to get traffic to the affiliate offers without any understanding or focus on who they're trying to reach and what they're trying to say, right? But if you want success for the long haul, you've got to build the know, like, and trust, even though you're an affiliate marketer. And you do that by creating an avatar and by continuously working to refine that avatar as you learn more and more about your niche, and to come up with what I call this elevator statement to always keep you laser focused on what you're doing and who you're doing it for. Okay, so that's the second video in the series. The next one we'll do is the lead magnet, because that's the next step in building this niche business. Okay, I tell everyone interested in affiliate marketing that you should have some kind of recurring revenue income stream. All the big names do it. All the people that make it in affiliate marketing have at least one product like this. And the one that I promote is Builderall, which is a software as a service that has all the tools that you need to make anything online: a blog, a sales funnel, a membership course, local businesses to create websites to get them online. Anyway, that's the one that I promote. I would recommend that you have a look at it too if you're interested in affiliate marketing. There's a link in the description. And if you're interested in promoting Builderall, I also have a link in the description, and that will take you to a video where you can find out the benefits of joining up under me and the kind of training and support that you'll get in order to have success promoting that program. So anyway, that's all this time, and see you next time. Cheers.